Ford is in big trouble, and they might even go bankrupt. They don't have any choice but to sell their cars for extremely low prices, from their EVs to their trusty trucks. But don't get me wrong, this is not a knee-jerk reaction. It is a thoughtfully planned strategy, one that is meant to reel you in and use you as a cash cow. Let me explain. What's causing this sudden drop? The short answer is that Ford cars are not selling as well as they used to, and Ford wants to see a change. To combat this, they have started slashing prices on their coveted trucks and stylish SUVs. Now, you might be thinking that this is like a shopper's dream, and on the surface, it does seem like a golden opportunity for anyone hunting for a bargain. But hold your excitement for a second. There's more to this than just discounts, more than meets the eye. These aren't just random markdowns, they're part of a strategic play aimed at reviving Ford's waning market presence at all costs. What is the catch? Well, you see, this is not just a quick fix. It's a carefully crafted plan, and these bold moves have some surprising consequences that aren't immediately obvious. To be honest, I was surprised by the real pitfalls behind these discounts, and I've broken them down into 3 crucial things you need to look out for. So, let's start with the elephant in the room. What's exactly happening? Look, no company wants this to happen to them. But the truth is, every automaker faces bumps along the road, but how Ford steers through this tricky period will definitely influence how consumers and the market see them moving forward. And it doesn't seem like they're doing a good job. Now, don't get me wrong, they're dealing with a huge issue. Rows upon rows of Ford vehicles, including the ever-popular F-150s, create a metallic metropolis at dealerships, just waiting to be sold. And don't just take my word for it, look at the hundreds, maybe even thousands of F-150s and F-150 Lightnings parked in a massive gridlock at Ford's massive Dearborn test track. And Ford's keeping a silent mouth about these curious backlogs. They vaguely state that these trucks are going through quality control tests, but isn't it a bit odd that these checks are happening now rather than at the factory before these trucks even leave the production line? Considering Ford's track record with recalls, topping the recall charts for 3 years straight, this raises a red flag, doesn't it? Just think about it, instead of running tight quality checks during production, they seem to prefer cranking out trucks quickly and fixing them up afterward. While this might help them meet high demand, it does leave a few question marks hanging over the reliability and thoroughness of their initial quality tests before these trucks hit the roads. From an industry perspective, this could put Ford's reputation for reliability and craftsmanship on shaky ground, if such a reputation even holds up these days. I mean, have you seen the recent recalls with the? Ford ended up recalling 43,000 units of the Bronco because of some serious gas leakage issues. And then, Ford recalled over 550,000 F-150 pickup trucks due to a faulty transmission issue. But that is not all I can keep going with. Ford has recalled over 125,000 vehicles, including the 2020 to 2023 Ford Escape, Ford Maverick, and Lincoln Corsair, due to a risk of fire from engine failure. Can you imagine? Now, these are not small issues with simple fixes. Take the Bronco, for example. The main problem was faulty fuel injectors that have a knack for leaking. When gasoline escapes and encounters these scalding hot engine parts, it's like inviting a fire hazard to your ride. You don't need to be a car guru to grasp why that's a big deal. Now, you'd think Ford would tackle this with a solid, lasting fix like replacing those problematic injectors, right? Nope. Ford's taken a different path. Their so-called solution involves slapping on a tube to redirect the fuel leakage away from the hot engine parts and let it drip down onto the ground. It might sound like a clever workaround, but let's be real, it's not exactly a game changer. While this temporary fix might dodge the immediate risk of a blaze, it ushers in a new set of problems, like unexpected slowdowns or even stalling on the freeway. It's definitely not the smooth driving experience you're dreaming of. Now, let me ask you, would you buy these models knowing what you know now? And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Reliability is only one of the things hidden behind these discounts. Let me give you the full list before you fall for the shiny price tag. The numbers game. I want to think about one thing. Where is the money for these discount prices coming from? Is Ford just letting losses happen and giving their customers a break from slashing their profits? Surely not, right? Who would do that, especially when their sales are dwindling? And the other crazy thing is that, on paper, Ford's sales shot up by a dazzling 7.1% last year, pushing their truck sales past the million-unit mark and marking an impressive 13% increase. But here is where it gets juicy. Despite this surge in sales, Ford's market share actually shrank to 13% by year-end. But to really get what's going on, we need to dig into the nitty-gritty of the automotive industry. Market share isn't just about raw numbers, it's about how Ford stacks up against the competition. Even though Ford's sales figures are looking rosy, their slice of the overall market pie is shrinking. Now, you might be scratching your head wondering how they managed to boost sales while losing market share. Well, Ford's trick involves a classic tactic from their old playbook, the stair-step dealer incentive program. This program is pretty straightforward. The more trucks a dealership sells, the more rewards they get. Ford's dangling some serious carrots in front of dealerships with juicy incentives for each 2023 Ford F-150 sold. And guess what? If dealerships hit specific sales targets, those rewards get even fatter. It's no wonder dealers are working their tails off to move these trucks. With incentives like these, they're in full hustle mode, pushing sales into high gear. But let's be real, the pressure to hit these targets can sometimes lead to, well, less than ideal tactics. Dealers have shared that these incentive-driven approaches often focus on hitting sales quotas rather than ensuring a stellar customer experience. The priority becomes sealing the deal, which can leave some customers feeling a bit shortchanged by the end of the process. It's not all dealerships, but there are certainly those who seem more interested in their commission checks than in delivering top-notch service. This has sparked some ethical debate. Are these sales tactics crossing the line? But why am I saying this? Let me break it down for you. What does all of this mean for you? Well, to truly understand the real big intentions behind these tactics and discounts, you need to understand where Ford is coming from. According to the Utopian, Ford is currently losing a jaw-dropping $36,000 on each EV it sells. That's right, folks. Ford's electric ambitions are costing them big time. Last year alone, they swallowed a colossal $4.7 billion loss as they chased the electric dream. And if you thought that was bad, hold on to your hats because this year's forecast is even grimmer, with losses expected to hit $5.5 billion. But despite these staggering financial losses, Ford isn't backing down. They're doubling down on their commitment to electrification, investing heavily to beef up their electric lineup. But why keep investing in a losing battle? That's where things get intriguing. It turns out a big part of the story revolves around the sophisticated software they're embedding in their vehicles. Ford, along with other big players like Chrysler, Subaru, and Mercedes-Benz, is rolling out new cars loaded with cutting-edge proprietary software. This isn't just tech for tech's sake, it's a deliberate strategy to funnel repair work through dealership networks. What does that mean for you? Your car's repairs are now practically tied to dealership services. Even routine maintenance becomes a trip to authorized service centers. Independent mechanics? They're getting blocked out of essential software unless they're ready to shell out big bucks. And guess who's left footing the bill? Yep, it's you. The result? Fewer repair options, lighter wallets, and less competition. Independent mechanics who are known for their competitive rates and personalized service now face major hurdles. They need expensive diagnostic tools and manufacturer-specific software to do their jobs effectively. Without these, they can't offer the full range of services, forcing them to either adapt or lose business. This is how Ford will make up the money they lose on these discounts. And beyond the financial strain, they're also asserting dominance by monopolizing repair services and dictating pricing. Their vehicles, packed with intricate high-tech components, justify premium maintenance pricing. Their proprietary software and unique parts are designed to reinforce the notion that their vehicles are worth every penny of those premium price tags. This is the second reason you need to do heavy research before giving in and buying these discounted cars. But before we get into the last and third factors, let me tell you what surprised me the most. The vicious cycle. Now, these fishy software systems would be fine if these cars didn't break down so quickly. But we already talked about the reliability issues, and you know what this means. Every time your car breaks down, which is inevitable, Ford will be making a huge amount of money. This creates a vicious cycle. When buyers catch on to the quality dip, they might just ditch these cars altogether. And what happens next? The same cycle repeats. The company keeps slashing prices and skimping on features, leading to even more dissatisfied customers. It's like a never-ending loop of cost-cutting and discontent. But wait, there's another crucial player in this drama: insurance companies. This is a huge deal, and to explain it, let me talk about the EVs with huge price drops. Because it is not just Ford doing this, even Tesla, the trailblazers of electric vehicles, is grappling with their own set of challenges. And what's their solution? Slash prices to move unsold inventory. For instance, the Model Y has seen a significant $7,500 cut from its sticker price, and that's not even considering potential tax credits that could sweeten the deal even more. But here is the full deal in detail. When these EVs break down or even get minor damages, insurance companies give them a write-off as total losses. Why? It's not because the damage is catastrophic, but because the repair costs are sky high. With repair estimates sometimes matching the vehicle's value, insurers are opting to write off the car rather than deal with the headache of costly repairs. Picture this: you buy a shiny new Tesla, it gets banged up in an accident, and suddenly the insurance company decides it's not worth the hassle. They write it off as a total loss, and the payout from the insurance often doesn't cover the cost of buying another Tesla. Insurance companies are freaking out over repair estimates, especially for low-mileage models, and decide it's better to cut their losses. Insurance companies are all about minimizing risk and cost. When repair bills hit $50,000 or more, they'll often declare the car a total loss rather than fork out for repairs. And who can blame them? This isn't just a quick fix, we're talking about delays that can stretch over 3 months. And guess what? That means insurers are on the hook for providing a rental car for the entire time. Imagine the rental costs stacking up over several months. Multiply that by numerous claims, and it's a huge financial strain for insurance companies. Their solution? Writing off the car to protect their wallets, leaving Tesla owners in a tricky spot. For you, this means a lot of stress. Handling a total loss involves negotiating with your insurance company for a fair payout, finding a replacement vehicle, and managing the logistics of disposing of the right car. It's a full-time job in itself, but it's not just Tesla feeling the pinch. Every EV manufacturer is grappling with similar issues. We're focusing on Tesla because many big names like Ford are closely studying their strategy. And Tesla's appeal lies in its cutting-edge design and technology, but this very technology makes repairs a nightmare. The advanced features and specialized materials used in Teslas aren't easy to fix without the right know-how and tools. And don't get me started on parts, you can't find them anywhere. Tesla parts often need to be ordered straight from the company, leading to long wait times and hefty prices. Plus, the repair labor is pricier because technicians need special training for Tesla's complex systems. Battery packs are a whole other ballgame. They're sophisticated and sensitive, and any damage to them can be a real headache to fix. More often than not, it's cheaper to write off the car entirely. Now, I can't lie, they're trying to figure out some solution to this, or at least these giant companies are saying so, but it's hard to believe them when their cars are constantly in trouble, especially Ford. But the story doesn't end here. When governments figured out this exact technique of using software to control repairs and fixes, they enacted new laws. But even that didn't work, and here is why. Right to repair laws versus manufacturers. Imagine your local garage, not a big-name dealership, equipped with all the know-how and tools to fix your car without costing you a fortune, even EVs. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, that's the essence of these laws. They are designed to give drivers and independent repair shops access to the tools and information usually locked up by car manufacturers. Right to repair laws are all about putting power back into the hands of consumers and independent repair shops. They aim to provide access to the tools, parts, and information necessary for repairs. And it's not just about cars, this movement spans across various electronic devices too. The basic idea is straightforward. If you own something, you should be able to fix it. No more being stuck with pricey repairs only available through manufacturers or authorized dealers. This initiative tackles the frustration of being tied to expensive, exclusive repair services. Here is, and the US Massachusetts has been the trailblazer in this movement. They've implemented a right to repair law requiring vehicles to have a standardized data platform accessible to independent repair shops with the owner's permission. This law dismantles the traditional model where manufacturers held a monopoly over repair information, forcing consumers to rely on expensive dealership services. By breaking this monopoly, Massachusetts has set the stage for a broader national debate on consumer rights and repair accessibility. It's a significant step toward giving consumers more control over their repair options. But not everyone is thrilled about this. Car giants like Ford are pushing back, arguing that these laws conflict with federal regulations and could jeopardize safety and cybersecurity. They claim that unauthorized access to vehicle data could lead to potential hacking risks and safety concerns. Ford, along with other manufacturers, is actively lobbying for their own legislation to counteract the provisions set by states like Massachusetts. But if you think that is controversial, let me introduce the last and definitely not least factor that you need to understand: big data and modern cars. Ever feel like your car is watching you? Well, it kind of is. With today's tech, your cars can tap into the internet, gather, store, and send out data for everything from keeping you entertained to improving performance and safety. Your car knows where you go, how you drive, and even what you're talking about when your phone's connected. While this data is a goldmine for making our rides better, it also opens up Pandora's box of privacy and security concerns. And that is catch number 3. Today's vehicles, especially the high-tech connected and automated ones, the ones that are on sales, are data powerhouses. But this massive data collection isn't without risks. If your car's data lands in the wrong hands, it could lead to scary stuff like stalking, unauthorized tracking, or even identity theft. And we don't even have to go to the extreme. Imagine your insurance company hiking your rates because of your driving habits, or shady third-party companies mishandling your data. The dangers aren't just personal, they can also be a national security issue if sensitive data gets into the wrong hands. The Federal Trade Commission has been shouting about these risks since 2013. They stress the need for clear and fair data practices for car manufacturers. The FTC wants companies to have straightforward privacy policies so drivers know exactly how their data is being used. Back in June 2017, the FTC teamed up with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to dig into these privacy and security issues. But this is still a huge issue, an issue you need to know before falling for these discounts. To be honest, it is a bit scary for sure. But what do you think? Let's know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.